Hey there, I'm Roy Stone with the Limitless Man Summit. I'm here to introduce you to Brian Bugent, one of my very, very good friends, a master in his own right. I've learned so much from Brian over the years. I can't thank you enough. I actually want to thank you for all the things that
You're
I've gotten
welcome.
from you. I really appreciate it.
I've learned a lot from you, and
And
and it has been many years.
and it has been many years.
Literally, I've known you since 2008, seven.
I think so, yeah.
Somewhere in that range. So
It's been going, and lots of adventures in between. Speaking of adventures, he just got off an airplane from Europe, spending about close to 3.5 weeks in Europe with 5 countries.
no, actually, I ended up only doing 2. The intent was
Okay.
5. I got distracted in Romania and stayed there for a while. And
I saw the pictures of the distraction.
Yeah,
That looked pretty good. Yeah.
It was a lot of fun, but I did travel around Romania a bit. Then I went back. I hit Amsterdam twice because I had friends in Amsterdam, and wanted to go back and visit some friends I hadn't seen since 2009. Somebody else that was amazing I hung out with in 2009 that I couldn't wait to go see again, and then came back here. So that was my trip. But yeah, the idea was 5. I had them all listed out, but I kept thinking, no, one more day here, and
And hey, you know, one of the things I was telling him was, he looks a lot better than the night he left. I saw him the day before he was going, and you look. Maybe it's a new Italian jacket or something, but.
well, I lost
you did well.
I lost like 7 pounds or something like that because I was eating so healthy while I was there. The food in Europe, especially Romania, if you go to the right restaurants, is A, super cheap,
Yeah.
and B, super healthy. I was eating delicious, just chicken and vegetables and stuff that it tasted so good. It blew my mind. You know, part of that you're in a different country, a different culture, but
Right.
the quality just seems so much better. And everybody else that I know kind of says the same thing, is that the quality is so much better. I also like to eat healthy because I'm super food sensitive. And so when I got there, I knew it was going to be stressful. I was going to be working a lot. I was going to be moving along, getting a lot done. I had a week-long training I had to teach.
Right.
And I just I didn't want anything dragging me down. So I chose to eat healthy the whole trip. There's too many other fun things to worry about, to do, not even worry about. There's too many other fun things to do than to say, oh, I have to eat junk food while I'm on vacation. I was much more interested in having energy and feeling good.
Pictures he showed me of both the women he met and the country just looked amazing. And one thing I want to kind of touch upon was, Brian is truly a master in the things that he does. One of the things that we do at Limitless is we bring in unique coaches that have very, very different specialties. And Brian's is a very unique specialty. And he didn't go to Europe to go attend someone else's seminar. He went to Europe, and a whole crew of guys from America followed him there and followed him for his tour, which I think is pretty amazing.
And a crew of our own team to put it on. It wasn't just me.
Right.
And we had most of the guys came from America and flew to Romania to train with us. I hung out with some of them in Amsterdam, actually. We continued on. And we had one guy come from London. And it was a freaking blast. It was amazing.
It sounds great.
The guy that came from London, he blew my mind because the difference from day 1 to day 7 was so astounding that I would swear it was a different human being. He looked like he lost all this weight, but he didn't. I mean, it was only 7 days.
Right.
There's only so much you can lose in 7 days. He just looked like a different human being. And I'm going to say what that largely was due to his ability to say, okay, I'm going to do this fully. I'm going to get into the work, do it fully. I'm not going to fight it, and just see what happens. And he committed, and he dug in there. And I have so much respect for him because he did the amount of work that would take most people, I can't even tell you how long, in a week.
Right.
And changed the whole way he looked and felt. And I'm going to see him this weekend. I'm going to be working more with him, so I'm excited.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a guy texted you that said that after the experience, he was going to be heading towards LA to spend a month working with you.
Yeah, that's him.
Pretty impressive.
That's him.
That was pretty impressive. So Brian, you should go to his site. You should research him. The things that he works on, I would say, he works in a mixture of very practical, the world of very, very practical, and the world of energetic response and tension.
Oh, I like the way you said that. I'm going to steal that. Energetic response and tension. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's really true. And you get huge changes in men and how they relate to women. I know you've spoken at other well-known speakers events where there were couples there, and you'll get couples up on stage, and like within 30 seconds, the woman will be crying just because the guy released the right energy. This is a very powerful concept.
Yeah, well, these events are for couples. They're events about sexuality for couples that have been committed and married couples. And some of them haven't connected in years. And so when I get up there and do this work and teach them how to actually let the other person emotionally in, and to feel the other person's energetic vibration to flow with another human being, especially somebody that they are supposed to be in love with, that they're married to, that they maybe haven't felt in years, yeah, it tends to ensue in some crying and stuff like that.
So this, for me, this is actually a really big deal and a major point with Limitless. Is one of the things I talk a lot about is this concept of seeing the matrix. That except for maybe a couple of people at Limitless, all the coaches come from very different places and they all land in the same place. And the other concept of see the matrix is that if you, old school attraction said it was all about hello and banter and lines and crap that kind of took you nowhere.
Techniques.
Whereas what we teach, which is kind of the new science, and it really is science, is how to go all the way from hello through dating, through relationship to all of this. And so the main reason I want to point this out is energetic tension is phenomenally important. Just saying hello.
It is.
And sitting down for your first date. And 15 years into the relationship. It never goes away. So that, to me, that means that this is a pretty big deal.
It's feeling. Energetic tension resolves itself in a feeling. Like my favorite topic is tension and how tension works. Not just sexual tension, but tension in life.
Right.
All tension seeks resolution, and in the resolution you grow. And if you take it with a simple...
Wait. What do you mean by that?
Well, you take a simple seed, put it in the ground,
Right.
you bury dirt on top of it. Is that seed, it's got a shell to crack through to dig roots into the ground through the earth. That's tension. And then it has to dig its way up, out, and through the surface and grow into a tree through weather and through seasons.
Right.
And through night and day and through cold and heat and through... And that's tension. Everything grows through tension. If you want to build muscles, you lift weights. You put tension on the body. If I want to learn something, I have to get into the stress of learning it, and then come to acceptance and resolution of that stress. And in that, my neural pathways change, the way I relate to the subject changes, and I start to build an ability with it. If you don't apply tension to the thing you want to become good at, you don't learn and grow. Well, this is true with attraction, too. This is where sexual tension comes from. If I'm with a woman and I'm getting rid of all the tension when I'm on a date with her, she's going to get bored. It's a simple way to put it. People aren't looking to get rid of the tension and stress in their life. They're just looking for tension and stress they enjoy. And men go out on a date and we say, hey, I don't want to make you uncomfortable. I don't want to get any tension in here. I don't want to have any tension with you. So I'm going to take away all the attention out of the date and just make you happy. What do you want me to do? I'll do whatever you want. And as long as you're happy. And in that, she's bored.
Watch the airplane crash and burn.
Exactly.
Like,
so the real key, like banter. Banter is creating tension. Cocky funny is creating tension. Being direct is tension. But what guys still try to do, which makes me laugh, is they try to go up and do one of these things. Like, let's say it's being direct. Okay, I got to be direct. I got to tell her she's beautiful. I got to tell her she's pretty. I got to tell her I like her eyes or the way she's dressed. And they try to do it without the tension. They're like, excuse me, I just want to tell you you're really pretty. And in that, crash and burn. There goes the plane again. Because they took, the key element was not that you're fucking hot and I want to talk to you, or not that, look at you in that dress, you make that dress beautiful. It's not that. It's the fact that they take the tension out of it. Like, I could come up and say, damn, I just had to say hi to you. I'm not saying much, but there's tension here. And it's in that tension that, oh my God, what's going to happen? Where are we at? And do I feel good inside? Do I feel turned on and I'm unapologetic about it? All these things matter. How I feel in my body when I'm doing it. Do I feel creepy? Am I owning my sexuality? Am I enjoying her? Am I letting her see that I'm enjoying her? There's so many little things that go into a high that's where the energy of, that's where it all happens. And that's being good with tension, that's being good with the energy, that's being good with flow. And we talked about this earlier when we were having dinner,
right.
was meeting a girl that doesn't speak the same language.
So that was the question I wanted to ask you. Is you just got back from Europe, and I'll state the obvious, right? Language barrier, different countries. Normally most guys think it's all about the words you say and what do you say and how do you say it. And if there's language barrier, you don't get to play that game. And maybe a little bit, but so it's got to be something else. And is it body language? How would you try and put it into words? Body language, energy,
Emotion,
heart response.
Well, ultimately, energetic tension is emotion. Like, if I'm turned on, women read emotion like just it's so easy for them, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so I'm walking down the street and I say hi to a woman. If I'm angry, she feels it. If I'm sad, she feels it. If I'm turned on, she feels it. If I'm trying to hide my emotions, she can feel that I'm hiding something. And so all that matters. So the number one thing is not what you say, it's how you feel when you say it, and are you open and vulnerable with what you're feeling. Vulnerable not meaning needy, by the way, not meaning, oh please, I'm talking about openness. And so when I open my heart, because we were talking about this at lunch today, and I say hi to a woman and just truly enjoy her and take her in that hi I just said so much. She knows this guy likes me.
Right.
And the fact that I'm not trying to hide it, he's confident.
Right.
And that says so much. So this trip, honestly, most of the women there speak pretty good English.
Okay.
But the trip before this, the last time I was in, actually about a year ago, I met this beautiful woman that didn't speak hardly any English. She spoke just broken a little bit of English, and we spent about 4 or 5 days together. And
4 or 5 days.
Yeah, straight. And she was absolutely amazing. I would have loved to have kept seeing her, but we lived in completely different countries from other sides of the planet. When I saw her and I walked over to her, I remember the tension between us. And I remember how confidently she held the tension, even though we couldn't say the same words. She was looking right into me, and I was looking right into her. And I remember the whole dinner date, how I was just like, let's get food, and it was kind of broken English. And we sat down and we started talking, and it all started with eye contact. Right. And this tension between us. And we held that shit for so long. And I remember leaning in closer to her. I remember pulling back. I remember trying to say stuff and her going, what? And then I'd have to kind of figure it out, and I'd pull out Google Translate. But it was this sub-communication of tension that was consistent. And I remember leaning in at one point, getting really close, and her not pulling. She didn't even budge. She was not nervous. She was like right in there with me.
So one of the things for guys that, for a lot of you out there that are listening to this, if you're a typical guy, you may think that we are like literally talking Greek. Like this is like what? And so I've got 2 ways that I explain it. One you've heard before if you've listened to some of my other videos is it's like dials on a stereo and being maybe half deaf. Most of us men are kind of half deaf when it comes to this stuff. It's still there. It's still there. We just our dials on the stereo aren't quite dialed up. Women's dials, the microphone sensitivity on this is way up there to the point where I believe, and I've said this before, that I have to have my act together completely about 20 feet away. 20 feet, sometimes longer, but minimum 20 feet away. I've got to have my emotions out of my head, into my body, heart open, in my belly, grounded, all of these practices that we talk about. That's got to happen like 20 feet away. So here's a practice to prove it, because you may be listening to me thinking, that sounds like crap too, is watch a girl show on TV. Like pick any girl show.
You're taking some words out of my mouth. I was going to say it's slightly different, but...
and turn the sound off.
Yeah.
And
that's actually smart, yeah.
And I actually do it fairly often, fairly regularly, to kind of coach myself on this. Turn the sound off and watch the show. And you can watch the entire show and without the sound and understand what's going on. And if you can really see and watch and see that this is, 1, a girl show, and 2, you can understand everything with the words off, you begin to realize that this isn't malarkey.
No, it's not.
This is not.
If you watch a group of girls at a table in a bar that have been drinking, maybe after work, and they're just gabbing back and forth. To the average guy, this is like, what the fuck are they doing? Because they're changing topics every 2 seconds. They're bouncing all over the place. But if you pay attention, and like you said, if you can imagine turning down the sound, maybe just listening to the sound of their voices and not the words.
That's a great way to do it.
You're going to notice that they're sharing emotions. When one is talking about when she was sad, the other's talking about when she's sad. When one is talking about when she was in love, the other's talking about when she was in love. Or there's these emotional exchanges going on. And that's what you have to become good at. Right. And one of the things that, like you said, when I'm walking up and I'm talking to a girl, the first thing I want to do is get out of my head, which means I want to feel my body more. That also means I want to feel my emotions more. As soon as I start feeling myself thinking about what she's saying, I immediately take a breath. I feel my spine, I feel my gut, I relax, and I turn off all noise in my head, trusting that my body will come up with the next words, and it always does.
He just said something really huge, which is, again, if you're new to this, is a little unbelievable. Trusting in your body that the right words will come out next.
Yeah, we have a brain in the gut. Most people don't know this. This is not metaphysics, this is science. Look up, go to Google, type in gut as a second brain. And there's books written on this, but the brain is another neural net that communicates instinctively. And it works with the brain, this brain, and it's a weird way through chemicals that they talk to each other. This is our gut instincts. This is our gut brain. This is our, you're doing something athletic and your body's telling you move this way, move that way, and you're not thinking anymore.
I don't even call it intuition. It's in parallel with intuition, which is still a form of cognitive thinking. Mm-hmm. But it's similar to intuition if you're trying to figure out.
Well, gut instinct is what people love to say. It's coming from here.
How many hundreds of years have we been saying gut instinct?
Yeah. And you're not going to logic a girl into bed. You're not going to logic a girl into love.
Ever.
Do you think a girl wants to? Do you think a girl wants to fuck a guy who is really logical about his sex and his turn on? Or do you think a girl wants to fuck a guy who's completely and deeply connected to his instincts and his body, especially his lower body, and is that animalistic part of himself but he's not. He hasn't lost control to it, but he's in touch with it.
Right.
That's passion, and in that you can have raw animalistic passion and turn on. And that's what they want to feel. They want to feel that cycle, this whole human being. Mm-hmm. But the average guy comes at this primarily from here and is trying to convince girls to like him. There's no convincing. Either you know girls like you because you're in touch with your masculine, or they don't. Mm-hmm. And that's a switch.
It's a switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a very famous fellow that we all know. One of his best quotes is, "Attraction is not a choice."
Yeah.
It's not a choice. You don't get to decide it.
No. Gets triggered and it gets triggered.
It gets triggered.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And
I don't know, a little joke, maybe it's a joke, maybe it's not, but for quite some time, through fate and good luck, I was running the door at some of the really big Playboy Mansion parties.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was great. I had the Ferrari parked out front, I ran the velvet rope, I got to see everyone come through, solve problems at the door, see who was really coming in, and then come into the party. So that was a great phase of my life that I enjoyed a great deal. But one of the things that I learned, and this is the joke, is nobody gets laid at the Playboy Mansion. It's true. Nobody, except maybe the rare. They get laid at the Playboy Mansion as much as they get laid at, one of these nightclubs out here in Vegas, in a corner someplace. And the reason is that everybody arrives at the Playboy Mansion with wearing their cardboard cutout. All the guys arrive out of their element, wearing a tuxedo that they don't know how to own, in a place that they don't know how to be, dealing with women that they think they're out of their league, but they're not. So they're basically not walking around being George. They're George's representative cut out of cardboard. And all the women that want to go for great reasons, for the American zeitgeist of Playboy Mansion. They want to go dressed up in lingerie. They're running around with their cardboard cutouts because they're not used to being dressed in lingerie and running around guys in tuxedos. And so you end up with like 2,000 people there, and they're all running around, and it's like the most amazing theater, and I highly recommend you go if you ever get a chance. It's an American icon that will go away soon, I'm sure. But nobody gets laid because there is no connection.
Yep.
You can't talk your way into it. If you've got something in between you, any barrier in between you that is something other than you, nobody gets laid.
Okay, so here's the thing that I think that people confuse in the dating community.
Yeah.
And you look at the typical seduction community, they say you're trading value. My friend Jason used to
That's
say
funny.
this.
The first time I heard that, I almost puked.
Yeah, I'm like, you give me this value, I'll give you this value. We're basically measuring to see if we're good enough. You're good enough for me, and then it's, I'm going to lower my value, raise my value, we're going to get it just right.
And there are human beings who live at that level.
It's not a pretty thing. And my friend Jason, he used to say that I threw that out the window right away, and I just started giving pleasure to women. And he said, I just go out and start giving of pleasure, and certain women will bite, certain women won't. And this guy was fucking amazing with women. He disappeared many years ago. If you're out there, Jason, I hope you're doing good. Yeah. But the thing I came to the realization of was that when I was trying to figure out how to get a girl to prove her worth, trade value, to chase me, it just fucking didn't work, okay? Doesn't mean girls won't chase you. But the difference was I realized one day that all dating is giving. It's 100% giving. Now the nice guys out there are going, but I give and they don't respond back. Well, you're not really giving, nice guys, by the way. I used to be a consummate nice guy, and I thought I was giving. I was out there, what do you want to go to dinner? What do you want? What do you need? I wasn't giving, I was taking. I was, completely taking. Yeah. And what the taking was I was only giving so that you would like me, so you'd have sex with me, so you would appreciate me back, so that you would give me some value back because you're a pretty girl. That is not giving.
I want to thank you for watching part 1 of my interview with Roy Stone. I feel extremely honored to be at this year's Limitless Man Summit, where I'll be one of 30 master instructors teaching with combined experience of over 300 years, giving you over 30 live hours of intensive training. Tickets are on sale now at thelimitlessmansummit.com for only $395. I'll see you there in person.